How should we think about this when launching a new game? Should I always try to include this like rewarded UA channels for the global launch, or should I start doing this maybe already in the soft launch so I know what can I?
That's a good question, actually. I think maybe not in the soft launch because rewarded needs the game to be mature, to have all the events, LiveOps, and we can simplify saying that it needs to have a monetization system that it's pretty much.
It's 4 a.m. and we're rolling the dice. Matej drops knowledge made of golden eyes. Felix with ads making those coins rise. Jack up designs, worlds chasing the sky. We're the 2.5 gamers, the midnight crew, talking UA adverts and game design too. Matej, Felix, Shaka bringing the insight. We're rocking those vibes till the early daylight. Matej, UA, master eyes on the prize, tracking data through the cyberspace skies. Felix stacks dollars like a wizard in disguise. Jack up's crafted realms lift us to the highs. 2.5 gamers talking smack. Slow hockey stick, got your back. Ads are beautiful, they light the way. Click it fast, don't delay.
Let's not be super serious. Let's not be super serious. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our special episode. I stopped counting which how many special episodes we have because
A lot.
I know. But when we have a special guest, I guess we can start calling it super special or super special. Anyway, my name is Matej
I'm Felix Broberg.
and we are your hosts for today. So we have a special guest. We have special guest Max from MAF. Can you introduce yourself and the company?
Sure, it would be a pleasure. First of all, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be in the podcast. It's been a while. I've been watching you guys, and now I have the chance to take part. It's amazing. Well, my journey starts about a decade ago in mobile advertising in general, and we started my journey when we released our first app, which was my app free at the time. And maybe you remember all the concept of the app of the day when we used to get games, paid games, and price drop for free for 24 hours. So my app free was exactly doing that. There was a couple doing the same things, and the goal was just you rank up paid games on top of the chart in Apple and Google. No, yeah, obviously, unfortunately, it doesn't work anymore. It's been kind of fixed by the App Store, and that's why we started introducing rewards inside your app. So we started giving stars to the user to play games, and they just got crazy about it. They just played like 5-6 games at the same time just to get more rewards. And then we quickly figured out, oh, maybe we should give gift cards to those users so they will spend back in the games we're sponsoring, essentially, and it kind of worked. From there, we took the leap with MAF to release MyChips. It's our SDK monetization or advertising solution for games and apps. Essentially, it's doing the same thing as the app, but it's distributed across many other apps and games. So it's that's what we are focusing right now. Very hands-on from app developer, game developers, and so on.
And we saw some of your recent case studies with SpringComs, TapNation, and whatever else. So just set the context for our discussion. So where's like the rewarded UA right now sitting in the current like UA channel mix or like the overall setup?
I think lately it's a topic that you guys probably seeing the same on your side. It's increasing a lot. There's more and more developers that are actually building UA teams specifically for rewarded channels. No, because before it was like a mix. You have the guys working on uploading on Meta, and then maybe when they have time left, they're gonna launch a rewarded source. But now it's totally different. They have a team focused on that. There's more developers jumping into this, I cannot really say new channel because it's been around for 10, 15 years, but they're really seeing good return right now. So that's why they're focusing more there. I believe lately it's also, besides gaining more traction, so more split of all the UA budget, we're talking about 30-40% sometimes. We are changing the paradigm that before it was like you first max all the classic channel you have, like uploading, Meta, and the other, and then you test reward. And now I've seen developer jumping directly into reward or starting at the same time with new games, essentially. So this is very important, I think, because it's a signal that the industry really believes it's a channel where you can make money, where you can make a decent and a massive scale sometimes. It's not anymore like one of the latest priority you see, you check in your UA strategy. You know?
Okay, yeah. So why do you think like that's changing that much? Because yeah, as you said, like I heard and did. I mean, my approach was pretty much the same. Top like traditional channels, and then what's next? Oh, let's just start doing that rewarded UA. And as you said like there are UA managers only that are kind of now managing the rewarded UA channels.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
let's say one person manages 10, 15. So that's true. So but yeah, like what's the change actually like from like now and let's say 2 or 3 years ago, which was already kind of pretty much like a rise of rewarded UA.
Yeah, but I think it was maybe still early days because the competition was not very strong in terms of publishers, UA channels that can drive players to games. I think the competition helped a lot to improve the retention, the engagement mechanism that we are using with the users. So obviously this improved the quality of those users in the games. Developers have seen increasing scale, they've seen more ROI, they've seen longer term ROI and retention, so that's why they are investing more and more there. I believe also there's definitely other factors like privacy on iOS helped a lot because you basically lost most of the targeting. And also nobody really wants one channel to be 85-90% of your UA, you know? So that's why they are trying to differentiate. And I think the short-term ROI window that Rewarded has usually can bring you to break even like 2 or 3 times faster than uploading. I think it's an important factor, no, because they are seeing their money coming back earlier from the players, so they can reinvest, and it's just growing this way.
I'm
I
just
think
super curious about a question
Yeah.
I've always wanted to ask on this. Just the people that convert on Offerwall, do you notice any difference in the number of people when like times are rough or the economy is booming? So like if people are struggling, they convert more? Yeah?
Oh, yes. This is mainly in apps that are paying reward that we call real money rewards. So any virtual currency that can be translated to something you can spend in the real world, like gift cards, Bitcoin, or even cash sometimes. So in this particular type of channels, definitely when the economy is going down, you see the users going up. But if we go on any other publisher that you use an offerable like games or apps, then there it's not really the case. I think there is more like the case. Okay, there's a COVID-19. Everyone is playing mobile games, so of course the volume on the offerable is going up.
That makes sense.
Unfortunately, and we hope it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen again. But that, from time to time, we should be prepared.
So like why is like now the time of like the offer walls and having like this resurgence, like because this was already getting like pretty bad reputation, no?
Yeah, I believe in the past they've been used offer was mainly for like a ranking boost or very easy campaign where the goal for the user was just install the game and then leave it, which definitely never have a return over investment. And they were used mainly for ranking boost or any other cosmetic numbers you want to show in your games, not a real strategy. I think the paradigm changed a lot when we started talking about rewarding the playtime that actually the user is spending in the game. And by rewarding the playtime, it's a totally different paradigm. You really change the game and you reward a positive behavior of the user, not spend an hour playing your game or 2 hours or whatever it is. So the goal, it's not keep paying the user forever because it's not going to be sustainable, but it's giving them some rewards that will make them addicted to your game or make your game an habit for them so they can just play even after. No, of course, we don't expect the user to keep all the games they try via offerable, but what we are trying to do is making the right match between the user and the game so they can keep 30-40% of the game for a very long period. We usually can track events up to a year. So we see the lifetime of the user for a year. And that's the goal. That's the vision. Technically, users should be playing the games they download as long as possible in order to break the reward window.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty good on paper, or looks pretty good on paper.
Yeah, there's a challenges, obviously, which is make the economic work for the advertiser, for the publisher, and for the user. It's definitely more tough when you have real money rewards, because when you have a real money value, then you need to make the math work essentially. But if you're talking about games or apps where you just give like a virtual currency that cannot be translated into cash, then it's totally different. You can potentially reward the user for a year, and it's going to be okay as long as they're playing.
Yeah, but then there's really a lot that the app or game needs to kind of think about the monetization or the balancing, especially so you don't fuck up the economy of the game, right? Or app.
Yeah, but I think it changed from case to case, because
Yeah,
we can take an example, which is a very nice example to show how brands look at offerings. Like you said it before, earlier it was probably not a very good feeling on offerings, because they have a different UX, they bring user to other games, sometimes the reward doesn't even work. So you have like a bad user experience for the user, and the user, it's your user. So essentially it's the publisher to have a bad review in the face of their audience. So I think a case like NAA, which is the Japanese airline, probably one of the major airline in the world that recently adapted offerings. They're using our solution for that. Shows exactly the opposite. So they are not driving primary monetization with the offer. Of course, there is monetization as well, but they're using it to drive engagement. Think about their company. They're making like 10 plus billion a year.
Right. I found this.
Yeah, they're making 10 plus billion a year. So it's
nice.
It would be, and their business is not in the games. It's just moving people with planes, no?
Yeah, exactly.
So it would be crazy to think that an offer can drive their company revenue 10% more, no? Or 5% more. That would be really crazy. But they need to have the user, in this case, the customers, they call it customers, to be loyal to the airline, because next time they book a flight, they need to book again the same airline, obviously.
Oh, yeah,
one way that they've been using for the last 50 years is giving them miles. But if they can give a way to the user to earn miles while playing games, imagine you are waiting for the check-in, or you're just waiting to take off, no? And you play games and you earn miles for the airline you're actually flying. It's a very good engagement solution and loyalty solution that they use to make them user customer buy again the flight next time.
Genius. How did you speak to someone in an airline? Like, you never get them on the phone. It's impossible.
Yeah. It's definitely a long sales cycle, I can say, but
fair enough.
You need to get a little bit on the side, you know.
Yeah.
No, but in this case, the app I'm referring, they made a companion app in particular to earn miles. No, so they have different activities like walk and you earn miles, or take survey, you earn miles, and the natural next one would be play games and earn miles. So either you follow the Netflix style, so you build your own portfolio of games. And we know maybe it's not going to work, or you rely on games from third parties, which have been building games for the last like 20 years.
Okay, so talking about the case studies, and I want also to ask, like you mentioned iOS, or I was thinking about iOS, like I think you were like one of the first rewarded UA channels that were actually on iOS. Was that like the case? Because I know I was working with Colibri and I saw you guys there and I was like, oh, wait a second, iOS. Oh my God. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's true. I could say one of the first for sure. Now it's more broad.
Obviously.
Well, Apple has always been a little bit tough when it comes to offer in the past.
I'd use a different word, but okay. Yeah.
We all know about that. I need to be politically correct.
Yes, yeah. That's true.
You guys cannot be. I need to be politically correct.
Yes, yeah.
No, yeah. What I wanted to say is that recently we can say they stretched the rules, and also when the paradigm changed a lot from install an app and artificially boost the ranking in the App Store, that's what they didn't want to. Now the focus is more like get rewarded for your loyalty in a game, for your playtime in a game. So don't switch like 100 different games and just leave them. Choose one, play them for like 2 months, 3 months in a row, and get rewards for doing that, obviously. It's very similar to any other loyalty program you can have on e-commerce, on airlines, on your supermarket, or things like that. So that's why it's changed.
Yeah. So
now, if we go directly in the play to earn, which is our format, I think what is obviously not possible on Apple compared to Android, it's getting access directly to the playtime of the user, because by API it's forbidden. It's a privacy setting. You cannot receive it. So we try to go on the opposite side. So instead of reading the data directly from the device, then we analyze all the data we receive from the tracking system, the MMP, so the signals from the app itself, and then we estimate the playtime the user is actually playing. So we do everything on the back end. We don't violate the privacy of the user, and that's why it can work Android, iOS, potentially even web. It doesn't need an SDK. It can work anywhere, even on Telegram or WhatsApp.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess like this is why rewarding the playtime works better than just rewarding installs, which was really the case now.
Yeah, I think there's a different reason. This is one of the reasons. Also, if you think about Apple users, iPhone users, they basically never been exposed to this experience before, to the experience of rewarding their playtime. Before, they didn't even see any offer at all. Then they started seeing offer with the install or simple multi-reward steps. And now they are exposed for the first time to get rewarded for their playtime. So that's why it's normal they are engaging more, and for a couple of years will be like that. Then I think everyone will need to come up with a different idea as well. No, you need to innovate every now and then.
Mentioning innovation and the players playing for a long time. So, and also you mentioned the companies actually see fast returns all from rewarded UA channels. So like is there any kind of comparison that you can mention traditional UA versus rewarded? And then, because I mean, like everybody was always complaining, oh my God, like these players are dying after 30 days.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's blast from the past, I would say. Right. So
yeah, I think it's still a struggle for some team and some publisher. I think you touched the right point. Definitely with the rewarded, you can see faster ROI in the first weeks or even the first 30 days. But you need to be sure there is no drop after. Like if your retention goes 0 and your ROI is flat after 30 days, you can be at 99%, but you never get profitable. Exactly. This 1% left, it's pretty much more important than the other 99, Yeah, for sure. So that's why I believe that you should push to the user positive behavior. No, I mentioned it before. Telling the user, don't rush the game, don't play 24 hours a day. But sometimes it might be counterintuitive. But the play to earn works that you cannot play more than a certain amount of hours per day. It changes game by game, but let's say 2 hours per day. So it might sound counterintuitive that you tell your player, hey, don't play more. Or at least you're not going to get rewarded if you play more than 2 hours. You get only the first 2 hours. This is because you guys know better than me. Like longer session doesn't mean higher CPM most of the times. Or spending rewarded video doesn't mean you're going to get more revenue in the end because the network will drop the CPM. So we try to create a positive behavior in the users that if they play 2 hours a day for like 60 days, when we stop paying them rewards, most likely they will keep playing the game. So the retention is usually higher after the reward window finish. And if we want to see from like a engagement perspective, if somebody forces you to play a game like every day, all day, you're probably gonna end up hating this game, no? Like you're just gonna trash it when you have a chance. Pretty much. So you said like how you solve the long-term progression, then like how do you solve like the 30, 60, 90 days windows for it? We usually work on a 60 to 90. So the 30 days it should still be rewarded. I think it's basically connecting to what I said. If you play 60 or 90 days in a row a game, a couple of hours per day, then most likely you're liking the game because you could switch and start playing another game and then earn the same rewards essentially, no? So we make sure that the user play as long as possible because there is a higher chance they just continue playing. One tactics also that we are using is that you should switch, but this is more connected with the game developer itself. You should switch from paying rewards in the app to paying rewards in the game. So imagine that you're receiving rewards from the app or the reward app you're coming from. And when the reward window finish, then you start giving rewards to the user, of course, in your currency, which doesn't have any monetary value, by continue playing the game. No? So in the mind of the user, they're just continuing doing what they did before, and they are engaging it. They are having fun doing that. You're not going to have like a double digit day 60 or day 90 maybe, but definitely not 0, which is the goal. Yeah. Okay. So creating a habit pretty much. Yeah, definitely. Creating an habit. It's what we're trying to do.
And the advertisers, like typically what type of monetization mix works the best in terms of ad revenue and IAP revenue? Is there a Goldilocks zone?
So think about the play to earn. like a mix between the multi-reward and rewarding only for the playtime. Because basically, if we take the potential total reward for a user, let's make it $100. Then we can decide how much is allocated for the playtime and how much is allocated for the milestone. So if you have a game which is more towards ads monetized, let's say 100% IAA, then you will pay the majority on the playtime, because you want user just to play, watch ads, progress in the games, and then the milestones are secondary. On the other side, if you have a IAP game or fully IAP, then you want to pay more on the milestone, because you want to make sure the user is progressing in the levels. So most likely they will become paying users. But also at the same time, you need a little bit in the playtime, because you want to avoid the stress or the churn when a user needs to get from, I don't know, level 100 to level 500, and there is no milestone, no rewards in the middle. It could take 10 days, and we know like 10 days playing a game without rewards kind of sucks. So that's why user will just churn and try another game. No, so we use this, let's say 20%, 10% can change from game to game, from the total reward allocated to the playtime, in order to avoid the churn.
Okay, and about this good question, Felix, about the monetization setup. How about the genres themselves? Like, do you see casual versus midcore works better, or not really?
I think it depends a lot on the type of user. There's if you think about an offer wall with hundreds or thousands of different sources, then there will be sources more towards the IAP, because they're coming from a similar game, or there will be sources more towards casual game, because maybe they're coming from an airline, for example. No, so you need more casual game just to kill this 30 minutes or an hour you're commuting. So I think it really depends, and it's where it comes the personalization of the games that we are showing to the user comes into place, and it's really important. I would say we can maybe make a group between games that work on offerable and games that doesn't work on offerable, because there are, obviously. And the game that doesn't work on offerable, I believe, are the one that doesn't have a deep meta for the user. Like if you don't have more than 30, 60 days of playtime, then it's probably better you don't even try. Like I'm thinking about hyper casual. They still exist. I don't know. Just I'm just joking. I think about hyper casual for sure, and then it's probably not the best fit, because they can buy cheaper on other media and a higher scale that it doesn't really make sense. While on mechanics like a strategy game or social casinos, then the average customer acquisition cost gets very high quickly, and they have enough content to keep the user for 2 years if they want. And also the mechanic of the games, it's basically like a coin game. No? So the mechanic of the game is very, very much aligned with the intent of the user, just earning coins. No? So that's where they stop earning in the app they're coming from, and they start earning or farming in the game they're now playing.
So let me ask differently then. What's the best game that you can scale on MAF? Then, like, when you sign a client, then you immediately say, "Oh my God, this is gonna work so well."
I think it's probably merge and a social casino. I think that would be the.
If I asked the same question as Matej asked, but for who should implement the MAF offer wall, like in their games to monetize, to earn money, what's the Goldilocks zone there?
We're talking all about games, no apps in this case, Felix.
No, let's leave it for games now. We can leave it for games now, and then we can talk apps later.
Okay.
Well, for games, I believe where you have a very strong economy and a very strong currency, because think about that, like players engage with the offer wall because they want your currency, and you're targeting mainly those 90+% of users that are not paying user, but they are playing your game. So what's going to happen if they don't want to pay, then eventually they will churn in the future. So this is a way to give to the users that are still not paying user a sense of the premium experience. Now get this 1,000 gems, get the premium package, try a little bit, fight with other users, and then maybe you end up either engaging again with the offer or making an app purchase because you progressed more in the game. So I think the best fit is probably hardcore, strategy, midcore, while it's probably not the best fit for hyper casual or casual. Because there is a very strong alternative, which is the rewarded video. And also you just watch 30 seconds and you get these 20 coins or whatever. It's more quick for the user, and it's more aligned with the type of gameplay they're having on hyper casual, very quick session.
And for these games that implement an offer wall, what's usually a good benchmark for the percentage of earnings from an offer wall overall? Let's say from a hardcore game, if they put in an offer wall.
I think the minimum to consider a success would be 5% uplift. Then from 5%, you can get up probably 15 on average. I've seen cases even higher, like 25, but it really depends on the game. And I think one mistake that the monetization team should avoid when they implement an offer wall is thinking that it's gonna be an autopilot like another network. You know, they just put a rewarded video, they define the placement, and it's going to be autopilot. It's going to generate the money. It's actually not the case with Offerwall. So you need to work with LiveOps. You need to work with the monetization team, your team, but also the Offerwall team to actually create experiences for the user. Exactly. I think the main concept would be that Offerwall is more like an experience rather than just an ad. So if you don't design the experience, if you don't upgrade the experience from time to time, it's not going to work like a banner placement or a rewarded video placement.
Okay. So then the question is, you mentioned 5% to 15% uplift. And then you still need to pay attention and invest resources into managing the experience, as you said. What's the minimum kind of, let's say, monthly revenue for companies to justify this exercise?
Well, this it's really up to the developer, but I think for mid-sized developer, it could be from 50 to 100K a month, while for big studios, it could be millions at the minimum for justify the effort. I think it really depends on the scale of the studio, but sometimes 10% more can let you buy more effectively on your UA, so you can get this incremental and bring it to UA, and you scale more, and it's from there you scale even more. You create a positive trend. So I think in the end of the day, it really depends on what kind of effort the team have to actually put into place.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the UA, I mean, with TapNation, I saw insane numbers quite quickly, right? Like there's like day 14 ROI, which was positive. Like what was the kind of difference between their, like how they run UA on the traditional channels versus what they've achieved with you, and what's the scale comparison? Pretty much that's what I'm
So I believe that in comparison with other clients, I think with TapNation there was a very good alignment. So they listened to our strategy and we implemented it together, which is not to give it for granted.
This is insane. These are great numbers.
Yeah, not to give it for granted, for sure. And I think that the main change from the multi-reward to the play-to-earn, it's because the games really align. We're talking about an idle game, for example, and a merge. So I think the games really align with the concept that every time you play like 30 minutes or an hour, you can get rewarded some coins. So the players really enjoyed the positive rewards for them. And then they made it as an habit. So we were able to scale significantly. I'm not sure I can share exactly the number, but it's one of the. I think they're spending a majority of the budgets on rewarded right now, and
that's exactly the comparison I need, because again, you also mentioned in the beginning. Companies are now spending, let's say, 30% of their budgets on the UA side for rewarded. And I ran a survey on my subscribers on Brutalione's newsletter. And last year they said like 10-20%. And I asked if they're willing to increase the budget the next year. And they said like 80% said yes. So now it's 30%. And I know some companies are running, let's say, 80% of the rewarded UA, which is insane.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, but then you end up in the other situation. Before you had 80-90% on Applovi, now you have 90% on rewarded.
Exactly.
I think you should have a middle ground.
Yes, that's for sure. But then like that kind of leads me to pretty much Spring Camps, because I know like they launched the game and they already kind of, with new title, they started with the rewarded UA right away. So, and I mean, we touched this a little bit in the beginning, but how should we think about this when launching new games? Should I always try to include this like rewarded UA channels for the global launch, or should I start doing this maybe already in the soft launch so I know what can I?
That's a good question, actually. I think maybe not in the soft launch, because rewarded needs the game to be mature, to have all the events, LiveOps, and we can simplify saying that it needs to have a monetization system that it's pretty much mature. not like a very basic one, because you're actually rewarding the user for playing your game. So if the game is not able to generate enough ARPDAO every day, then you're not going to be able to sustain it. That's why hyper casual probably doesn't work on Offerable, not because they are bad games. They have very high retention in general, they are very engaging, but they're not able to generate this high revenue per day, which will make them spend and scale on offerables. They could work but a lower scale, obviously. So I think, yes, you should definitely try maybe after the soft launch, the moment you're starting with any other rewarded. I think the mistake to avoid is thinking that you should cap any other channel at the point you cannot scale anymore and then just try offer. Also because the game will be kind of old and the performance will be lower.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm thinking about actually, let's say late monetization stage in the soft launch where the game is pretty much ready from the monetization point of view. And then just right before going global, start testing rewarded UA and putting them into the mix.
That could be.
Okay,
that could
nice,
be a good option.
Then you can scale afterwards after global.
Yeah, but Matej, you touched on a good point there, because you're saying before going global. So an offerable channel could be a very effectively when you want to test a new region in the world, especially if you need a lot of localization for that region. I'm thinking about Asia, for example, like Japan, Korea, or similar region. You would have to prepare all the ads. Okay, we have AI obviously today, so it's faster. But sometimes even the user experience of the game needs to be changed. And you need to expend a lot of energy in order to set up your UA campaigns there and then drive user to the game to see if it's working or not. So in the case of Offerables, the creative are pretty much the icon and the funnel of the steps. So it's very easy and quick to start a campaign, to get some initial traction, initial metrics on that region, and then use this data to optimize your game or to localize or whatever we wanna call it, no? And then you just can scale in the region. I think some clients of us are using this strategy, and it's paying out.
That's very interesting point, because I don't really need to localize any of my ads.
No, you don't.
Not even localize. It just needs to be pretty much changed drastically to be able to run in Korea and Japan. That's a very good point. Nice. But then, after global, how do you even scale? What's the scale opportunity on rewarded? Do I need to have 20 channels to be able to scale paired the traditional UA, let's say uploving, or is it just still decent scale? Then I can do the run. I remember running MAF for Idle Bank, and it was decent scale.
Yeah. No, I believe that, that you touch another good point. As of today, there is no mediation in the offerable ecosystem. So if you want to get the maximum scale, you need to have at least all the major platform live at the same time. Let's say maybe not 20, but we can name 10 probably that should be live at the same time. And this could be a big effort from a big stress for the UA team. I think we'll get to that point where there will be some mediation or aggregation of all the sources that you can basically just plug in one campaign and get access to all the traffic, all the offers in the world, but we are not there yet. So my strategy would be try to start with the biggest, obviously, try to create a system that reports all the cost, all the revenue in a structured way. The same as you do with any other channel, you just go on parallel. Here you're lucky because you're not gonna need to take care of creative, refresh the creative every week or so. So it's a big relief for the teams. But on the other side, you don't have one platform to rule them all.
Exactly, and also creative is not that big of a problem. But then you need to still work with the team and find different offers and try to balance that out, right?
Yeah, you mean different. You need to adjust and find the perfect user funnel, like the milestone in the game.
Yes, yeah.
And also like running LiveOps event. So LiveOps event, it's probably what's driving the majority of the revenue. So you need to be sure if you want to maximize it when you're running a LiveOps in your game, then this should be visible in the offerable. So user get attracted by that. Okay, there is a special winter event or some Valentine or Super Bowl, so they will just jump into the game and wait.
Super Bowl, Super Bowl tournament, and can you talk about that activity that you recently done?
Yeah, sure. That was
That's it's very good that you mentioned that, because I saw some case study around that as well.
That was actually very fun. So maybe for the people that are not aware, like the tournaments that we are using in My Chips is a type of live ops where actually people compete with each other in order to see who's playing more games for longer time and to get the jackpot essentially. Usually lasts for like a week or so. And it's not based on the milestone, it's based on the time you spend in the games. Of course, by playing, you cannot just leave the game open. It's not gonna count.
Yeah, that's Jakub. That's
Yeah.
Jakub pretty much.
Yeah. So what we have done is getting this concept and then use it with a teamed event. We know that Super Bowl, it's probably the major sports event in the States. I think 60-70% of the entire USA population are watching it. So we came up with the idea, why not having an event in the offer world that will be branded as a Super Bowl game tournament with the graphics and everything to see if the user engage more. And actually we saw 80% increase in the volume during this
Wow.
Ooh,
during
nice.
this event. And the players were playing even during the Super Bowl event itself. So I imagine those guys just watching the Super Bowl and then rolling dice or, I don't know, playing any game.
Yes.
That was fun. I think this proves, obviously, if you stick only to one event, you see a spike for these 3-4 days and then you're back to the normal level. But if you create a calendar in conjunction with your offerable team, with your partners, then you can really have an uplift on the whole quarter or year if you leverage on all the events.
So if you have only one event, I guess that's short-term gain. But if you have a calendar and an actual schedule, that can be quite long-term impact.
Yeah, definitely. You still see spikes, but the incrementality of those events when you look at your P&L in the quarter of the year would be quite impressive.
Nice. So what's next for offer walls in 2026 then? And then maybe also whole like rewarded UA, but offer walls mainly.
Yeah, that's where I can start.
Yeah. I mean, we have plenty of time. Don't worry.
That's a huge question. I would start probably from what really cares for us, what we are focusing on, and I think every player in the industry has a little bit different approach. That's why there is a lot of innovation lately. There is a lot of new solution in the market. For us, I think the case study that we're having with some partners like NA and the others are really changing the game. So we are trying to change the user intent from playing a game to get cash, which is we believe is not sustainable in the long term, from a system, an SDK that will be more engagement rather than monetization. So we want the user to play the games and earn rewards to be loyal for the brands they are actually discovering these games. So earn miles was just an example, but you can get a gift card for your favorite supermarket, or you can get coins to spend in your ebook reading apps just to read more manga or more coins. No, so I think this is the future of offerable. So going outside of the classic play for cash and start mixing the playtime of games, of mobile games, with the actual loyalty program that has been there for like 20, 30, 40 years. So they're pretty much consolidated and working, you know. If we're able to merge these two systems, I think the scale that we can bring to our clients will be massive, and we really can have them access an audience that you can easily target on uploading. No, it's not going into games right now. I think that's the real value for our clients, is to find ways to reach all these users that are using the supermarket app, for example.
And when do you think, and why do you think there hasn't been like a DSP that has just kind of rolled up all the supply where you can go and buy different type of offer wall supply from different, from.
That's a good question. Maybe somebody's working on that right now. I don't know, but I think because the reward mechanism and the funnel, it's way more complicated than the classic impression. No, I think in DSP
Right.
it's easy because you're paying for the impression, and you kind of don't care what happens after. You only optimize for what happens after, if they play, if they spend, and so on. With the offer wall, you actually reward the user for what happens after. So it's way more deeply engaged with the playtime that they're going to have in the game, in the advertiser game, rather than just watch an ad and pay the CPM to the publisher. I think we'll eventually get there, definitely.
Yeah.
But so far there hasn't been a very strong solution.
So it's more likely there'll be a mediation type solution for publishers coming first then instead of a demand side platform for the UA side.
I think so. Then they will build demand side platform on top of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be an ad network combining all of the reward.
Maybe already this year. We don't know. The industry is moving fast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen this year. There are definitely signs. Amazing. Max, I mean, thank you very much for coming on and for sharing all the insights. If anyone wants to reach out, where can they do so?
Well, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn, or my email is it's very simple to remember. It's max@maf.ad. So very short.
Nice.
So yeah, happy to talk with anyone that has question on offer wall, monetization, or UA, and get a virtual coffee.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Guys, thank you very much for listening as well. If you have any comments, any questions, reach out to Max or put them under the video into the comment section. We love your comments. So see you there and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.